Well, the first thing that I would ask them is, have they ever attempted to gradually reduce their prescription, or have they ever worked with vision training to see what the effect is? Because if you haven't had a direct experience, then what you are providing people is called opinion. Opinion is virtual. It's a belief. It's an idea. It does not take the place or even come close to direct experience. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm sharing with you what I experience. I'm the first one to share with you that my experience may not be available and probably is not available to everyone. Someone else may have a different kind of experience that is not available to me. But all I'm doing is putting out, sharing my experience as a possibility. That's number one. Number two, having done a lot of work with infants and children, I can tell you that less than 1% of children are born needing glasses. That, in other words, they see clearly, and that's a fact, that's not opinion. So this change in shape of the eye that the optometrist is speaking about does occur, for instance, as a person becomes more nearsighted. But that isn't there in the beginning. And which is when perhaps we have the greatest degree of flexibility or potential, if you will. So I'm saying we need to take a look at what is the cause of this lengthening phenomenon. What is the reason that vision deterioration is the biggest health epidemic in the world? Hardly anybody is born needing glasses. 2/3 of the US and world population wear glasses or contact lenses, and more than 90% of the world's population will need glasses in their lifetime. Most people over 40 say their arms are not long enough. Many children in school have difficulty translating visual information into meaningful knowledge and have vision problems that affect their ability to attend, to read, to learn. Athletes have difficulty using visual information to hit the ball and make a home run. So when we talk about vision, we're not just talking about eyesight. That's a tiny piece of it. We're looking more, not so much at how you see, but what is the response to the seeing. So in response to your optometrist, who I'm sure is doing their best to provide with you what they know, they can't give you opinion on things that they haven't had experience with. And unfortunately, as human beings, there's just so much we can do in a 24-hour day. So many of these things, you just have to see what happens. But by gradually reducing the eyeglass prescription, by doing some vision training, which is not vision exercise, it's really about neuroplasticity. It's about the brain, the mind, awareness, sort of experiencing what it is to see versus what it is to look. See, most everyone is conditioned to believe that we have to make life happen. We have to find what we want. We have to become a success. We have to create our own reality. We have to choose properly. So we're always looking for something. The problem is that when you look for one thing, you miss everything you're not looking for. And the things that occur when you're not looking for them, the things that occur in that place, we say those are the surprises, those are the miracles, those are the spontaneous remissions of life. So if you really want to understand vision, you have to look at how the neurology is set up for the eyes to function. The eyes are not designed to look, they are designed to see. They are not designed to initiate vision, they are designed to respond to stimulation by light. In other words, prior to paying attention to anything, the eye makes a movement, and the movement is in response to being attracted or called by something called light. Now that's very interesting because light is the most mysterious something, even though it's not a thing, in the universe. It's total immaterial substance. Nobody's ever seen the light. We experience brightness, but we don't see the light. We can't measure this particular phenomenon. It's everywhere all the time. So, and then of course you look at the Bible, and the Bible says that God is light. So what I'm suggesting is the eye is responding to a call from light. What is light? Light, from the physicist's point of view, is the fundamental energy that creates what we call the universe, what we call the life's experience. The intelligence of life is in this something called light, which calls the eye, which means, at a much deeper level, something is guiding us moment by moment. Something grabs the eye's attention, causes it to turn a certain way. The body then reorients itself, and we know where the next step is on our journey. That same information that enters the eye, and most of it is not related to eyesight and vision. A big part of it goes to the hypothalamus of the brain, which is what is called the brain's brain, and the pineal organ, which is now known as the body's master organ or master gland. It's called the regulator of regulators. It regulates everything. And when those particular portions of the brain, which by the way control not only all the hormonal activity, but control every life-sustaining function in the human body, when that occurs, every cell and every cellular component at the same instance of time receives a knowing about what's happening in Mother Nature. What time of the day is it? What time of the year is it? Am I in California or in Bangladesh or in Japan? And based on that information, every aspect of our being orchestrates its internal mechanisms and then synchronizes itself with Mother Nature so that literally the inside of our being and what we call the outside begin to recognize that there's no sides. There's just oneness. And so light is continually moving us towards a state of oneness. It's guiding our physical movement through life. It's guiding the physiological movement that keeps us in a congruent, coherent, inseparable, seamless relationship with the heartbeat of life itself. And then that mechanism I spoke about before, this noticer, is also receiving this information from light, which allows us to, if we are experiencing a state of grace, because that's the only word I know for it, it's not something I've ever found I can control. If that's happening, then we will get a very strong guidance on what the next movement is in our life, where we are to move to next. To give you an example, I don't know whether you're a parent or not, but if you're a parent, or even if you're not, every so often you get a sense. It's almost like something flashes in your awareness. It could be your wife, your husband, your children, your parents, a friend. and something just moves you to pick up the phone and dial their number, and as soon as they hear your voice, they say, "Oh my God, I was just thinking of you." Now, every human being has had that experience, and things like that are more complex. How does that happen? What is that we just sort of blow off and say, it's just a coincidence, it's just synchronicity? Well, that is happening in my life every day, multiple times, over and over again, in very complex ways that I could not even begin to think about, much less explain. What is it that sees what has not yet occurred?
So excuse me, are we touching, like in your book, you're talking about open focus,
Yes.
and that's a way of seeing nothing when you're looking at nothing but seeing everything. Are we touching on that subject right now?
We are touching upon that